Well, this girl named Emma. She defended me at school from all these bullies. And for the first time in my life, I finally have a friend that I can rely on, tell my darkest, deepest secrets to. And when I find out that this person I felt so confident in was no other than a rat, well, I lost all hope in humanity. I'd always believed that Alex and I were invincible. An unbreakable force and love that could surely withstand any hardships that one could come our way. We were the kind of people that others envied, deeply in love, always inseparable, and seemingly the perfect couple together. We were college sweethearts and started dating while we both were freshmen after meeting at a party. Everything was good and there was no trouble in our paradise. Until 3 months ago when the worst thing happened to me. It was a fateful evening, and it was a celebration of our anniversary. Alex had planned a romantic dinner at our favorite restaurant, or so I thought. I was eager to spend quality time with the man who held my heart. I remember sitting alone, waiting for Alex. I waited for more than an hour. A note of unease began to twist in my stomach. He would always be there before me, but that minute turned into an eternity. And when he finally walked through the door, the tension in the air was suffocating. He seemed different. He avoided my gaze, his warm and affectionate demeanor replaced by an unfamiliar distance. Over the course of dinner, he was weirdly quiet and seemed lost in his thoughts. It was a quiet, for a moment, until he said the words that made my heart ache. He told me he can't do it anymore. By it, he meant our relationship, and I remembered feeling as if my heart plunged into an abyss of despair as I struggled to make sense of his words. Desperation welled up within me as I searched his eyes, hoping to find a glimmer of reassurance, a sign that this was all just a cruel joke or a terrible mistake, but what stared back at me was proof, a profound sense of betrayal. I had no idea why he decided to break up with me or what he meant at all. Why suddenly was he ending our perfect relationship of years? I remember how the accusations he hurled at me hit like a tidal wave, crashing over me with a force I could not comprehend. He accused me of infidelity, showing me a bunch of text messages which I could not even see properly. I was shocked, too shocked to react. My protest fell on deaf ears, drowned out by his words that our relationship was over, and that was the day my years of relationship ended in a snap. I got sick for days, and I could not move or even get out of my house. I could not fathom how the love that had once felt unbreakable had crumbled so swiftly, leaving me heartbroken, betrayed. My life was affected in the worst way possible. I could not focus on anything at all, and my life felt like a standstill. As the days turned to weeks, following my breakup with Alex, I found myself sinking deep into a sea of despair. Alex did not contact me again, and I called my mom and cried for hours, but nothing changed. Soon, my friends learned about our breakup and those who hated me too. I went to my college and got laughed at by girls who always predicted the breakup, and that's when I lost my temper. I was walking out of the cafeteria when I heard a group of these girls mocking and laughing at me. So I turned around, picked up the soda can from the nearest table and dumped it on her head. This resulted in her charging towards me and pushing me downward. I knew I was going to get beaten up badly when a girl pushed her away, slapping her hard and making everyone shocked. And that was my first time meeting Emma, or at least that's what I believed. It was during this dark period of my life that Emma entered the stage, casting herself as the empathetic friend and I so desperately needed. She gave me a shoulder to cry on and gave me the support that I craved for in my vulnerable time. Slowly, our friendship got stronger and I revealed my whole life story to her. Little did I know, Emma harbored a hidden agenda to use my vulnerability and exploit my fragile emotional state. Emma's presence was a breath of fresh air in my stifling world of heartbreak. She approached me with a warm smile and a genuine interest in my well-being, a stark contrast to the isolation and confusion that had become my daily reality. Emma listened as I poured my heart out, recounting the story of my shattered relationship with Alex. She was the support I really needed. I told her everything about Alex and our relationship, and my mom heard about my new friend and asked me to let her meet her. I requested Emma to do so and got them to meet, but the meeting did not go as planned, you see. My mom met her and immediately disliked her. She knew nothing about the girl but hated her for some unknown reason. I had always listened to my mom and never gone against her, but because of Emma I did, and this resulted in a fight with her and my mom hit me for the first time in my life. It all happened when Emma took me to a nightclub. I had no idea where she was taking me, so reaching there I was quite shocked. But because of her constant insistence, I stayed. She got me some drinks and soon I was tipsy. She introduced me to some guy, but my clear refusal shut her up. I asked her to drop me off and she agreed. But when I got home, my mom was mad. Seeing her with me only aggravated her, and this resulted in her yelling and to her to get lost. I intervened and tried to excuse our actions, but this resulted in a loud slap landing on my face. Emma left and I locked myself in my room. I didn't talk to my mom after that for days, but Emma's consoling made me like her even more, and I considered her my well-wisher. As Emma's presence in my life grew more prominent, I found myself unwittingly pulling away from my friends and family. She had become my confidante, the only one I felt truly understood the depths of my pain. It was a gradual isolation, one that I could not see until it was too late. Emma's manipulation knew no bounds. She subtly planted ideas in my mind, and it's because of her that I even fought with my mom for the first time. It all happened when one day, Emma came over and I was at my house, trying to busy myself with work. Emma knew my passcode and welcomed herself in. We fell into small conversations when she suddenly started talking about my ex-friends and even dragged my family into it. I wasn't sure how to correct her since I've grown to let her say things and guide me. Just that moment, my mom entered the house. She had heard our conversation, which agitated her. Mom started rebuking Emma and calling her out for blurting bad things about my family. I saw Mom harshly pull her by her arms and try to shove her out of the house, but Emma resisted, and this resulted in her losing her balance and falling down with a loud thud. Emma's knees got bruised and a small cut formed there. She started bleeding and I panicked. I yelled at her to stop. At this infuriated Mom, Emma tried to intervene, and this resulted in her getting slapped. I froze, but Mom did not stop. She only stopped after kicking her out. I had a big fight with Mom after that and did not approach Emma again out of embarrassment. But she contacted me first and forgave my mom, or so I thought. From that day onwards, Emma slowly started just to put words in my mouth, and I started listening to her more, thinking of her as a kind, genuine person. However, one thing Emma did that I found a little hard to swallow was her opinion about our relationship. She asserted that Alex was never serious about me and was only playing with me. She continued to tell me that, and slowly I started doubting myself and my relationship with Alex too. But one day, something happened and that made me rethink everything. I was coming back home from college when I saw Alex. I was close to approaching him when I saw a girl clinging to his arm, and as they walked, the girl's back was towards me, but she looked oh so familiar. But I was so upset to see him move on that I didn't bother watching the girl. I just cried a lot after I got back home and took Emma, everything. But what confused me was her asking me if I saw the girl when I refused. She relaxed, and that's when I noticed that her clothes were really similar to the girl's. Something unpleasant was felt in my heart. However, what she said next upset me even more. She suggested that it was Alex who was charting and maybe made an excuse to end our relationship by putting it all on me. As the days turned to weeks, the poisonous seeds of doubt planted by Emma continued to fester in my mind. The constant suspicion gnawed at my heart, and I could not ignore the feeling that something was terribly amiss. I called Alex, but a girl picked it up and her voice was terribly similar to Emma's. My suspicion only grew, and I got to know that Alex was seen with a girl these days, and that girl had liked him for years. I decided to get the truth by myself. I started noticing how suspicious Emma was and how she suddenly barged into my life and how I know nothing about her. For the first time, I decided to keep things to myself instead of telling everything to Emma. As days passed, I noticed Emma's strange behavior. She would always be on the phone and texting somebody, and when I inquired if she was seeing someone, she straight up denied it. This sowed a seed of doubt in my heart for her for the first time. I knew for sure Emma was involved with someone, and it could be him, but her constant denial and hiding it from me gave rise to an ugly feeling in the pit of my stomach. I also decided to meet Alex. I called him and requested him to meet with me. At first, I could tell he was hesitant, but in the end, he agreed. I had no idea if I was ready to face him, but I knew I had to. So in the end, I mustered up the courage and went to meet with him. Alex and I sat in a coffee shop as we waited for our orders. I decided to go on to the point instead of wasting time. I questioned him about the accusations, and that's when Alex revealed a bitter truth. He mentioned how he could not believe that I've cheated on him, and even after our breakup, he could not accept it, so he started looking into things thoroughly, and he started thinking about everything logically. He discovered inconsistencies in the accusations that he hurled at me. The evidence he had believed proved my infidelity now seemed flimsy and unreliable. Doubts had begun to cloud his judgment, and he could not ignore the nagging feeling that he had made a terrible, terrible mistake. I was shocked to hear that, and I immediately questioned him about the evidence, and what he said just made me absolutely speechless. He started talking about how he met a girl named Emma, who claimed to have known me from school years, and she provided him the evidence of my infidelity, and that was a bunch of text and demand confessing to being in a relationship with me. And that's how the dam broke. I cried as I refused to believe that the person I considered my well-wisher was actually the one who backstabbed me. I slowly revealed my friendship with Emma, but the most shocking discovery was that made-up evidence she provided was all done even before she became my friend. It was crystal clear that she targeted me from the beginning. Alex was stupefied to hear all that, but before rekindling our relationship or anything, we decided to unveil the truth, and that's when we see what we're going to do about each other. And for that, we need to come up with a plan. And that plan will lead us to the happiness we both need and deserve. Update number 1. Throughout the next month, Alex and I met up each other quite often, but we both decided to keep the meetings a secret. Alex informed me that Emma was still trying to be in contact with him, but now her texts were becoming more and more obvious. My trust was completely broken and my hatred for Emma was only growing, but I decided to play my cards well and did not leave her to have any suspicion at all. When I came up with this, ways to calm her down and make her confess everything, but I was going to be really strategic. So when Emma visited me on a weekend, I met her with all smiles and welcomed her in. We were sitting on my couch when I started talking about Alex. I started saying things like it was good that we broke up and I never felt sure about him and I actually think we don't suit each other. I was very aware of her reaction, so when I muttered that Alex would actually suit her more jokingly, she stiffened. And that's how I started the topic. Emma was not opening up in the beginning, but when I said that I considered him a good person and wanted the best for him and I thought she would go well with him, she eventually gave in. She slowly confessed that she had always found him attractive, and if I did not mind, she actually would go for him. I wanted to punch her, but I kept my calm and suggested that I would set them up. Emma surprisingly did not question anything about it. The next time I met Alex, I spilled everything to him. To say that he was shocked would be an understatement. We decided to go ahead with our plan and decided Alex would play the Ackerman boyfriend role until we got a hold of the evidence to expose her. And that's how Emma and Alex started fake dating. It bugged me a lot, but I knew I had to endure it. Emma was completely over the moon and would talk about how amazing it all was to her and would just quietly listen to her stories. It was a few weeks later that Alex told me that he had persuaded Emma to let him meet her friends, and that he was going to a party to do so. And so Alex went there. And that's where he met the guy James, whom Emma told him that I cheated on him with. Alex subtly brought me up to him when Emma wasn't around, and he said that he knew no one named Sarah. And that was big evidence since Emma had made her friend do a fake story about him being in a relationship with me, but the guy did not even remember my name and had never seen me. Emma stayed clueless when we were raging with anger. Alex and I decided to teach her a lesson, and that was to not only expose her in front of everyone, but also make her have a taste of her own medicine. The plan we came up with was simple. It was to fake an engagement with her, but the fun part was simultaneously preparing for our own engagement. Emma would shamelessly talk about her happiness with Alex, and with me, I would listen, and that was until Alex's mom got to know about it. We were at Alex's house when she came. She was shocked to hear about whatever was going on, and seeing Emma, she lost her cool. Alex and I watched as she cursed at her, calling her names and pushing her out of the house just like my mom did, but for the sake of our plan, Alex interfered and held his mom. The yells were so loud that even the neighbors were concerned. Alex's mom had gotten so angry that she was breaking vases left and right, telling us to kick her out. To pacify everything, I left with Emma, leaving Alex to deal with her. The whole family got to know about the situation, and we made everyone believe that Alex and I were better as friends, and that we were moved on. I told Emma that nobody would know her history or how she knew me. However, my mom did not like it for obvious reasons, and I had to persuade her that she had to trust me, and, well, finally we'll get rid of Emma this way, so she agreed to keep quiet. As the date of the engagement party drew close, we had to ensure that our friends and family were completely unsuspecting. This meant maintaining our usual routines and interactions, all while harboring this monumental secret. We had also going to enlist the help of a few close confidants who were willing to play along. They would serve as witnesses to our engagement and vouch for the authenticity of our relationship. Emma was over-enthusiastic about everything, but at the same time, I was really nervous too, since Alex and I were going to get engaged that day, not her. One of the most challenging aspects of our preparation was maintaining our composure. I'd say the pressure of keeping such a significant secret threatened to consume us at all times, really. We practiced our engagement reactions in front of a mirror, ensuring that our expressions conveyed genuine surprise and delight. It was a delicate balance between acting and reality. Finally, the day of the engagement arrived, and the garden was transformed into a magical haven of love and celebration. As we greeted our unsuspecting guest, Alex and I clung to our roles with unwavering commitment. The speeches flowed seamlessly, our engagement dance went off without a hitch, and when the moment arrived, I feigned astonishment as Alex dropped to one knee and presented me with a meticulously chosen ring. Everybody was baffled by the sudden turn of events. I just started talking about how I met her and how she approached me, then exposed how Emma had harbored a secret infatuation with my boyfriend for quite some time. Her envy and resentment grew until they fermented into a vindictive plan to destroy our relationship and replace me as his partner. Well, we played recordings of Emma admitting her deeds, and everybody was dumbfounded. Our families were furious, but what enraged everybody even more was when I revealed that she took me to the club and tried to get my drink spiked, which we got, well, seen from the CCTV. Alex and I also visited the club when I told them that I overheard her talking about a failed plan. After that, but at that time I had no idea what she was even talking about. My mom immediately called the cops, and because we had the evidence, we knew Emma was doomed. Exposing her was painful and cathartic process. It required confronting her publicly, revealing her actions to our mutual friends, and ultimately severing all ties with somebody I once considered a close companion. The fallout was not without its own share of heartache, but it was a necessary step to reclaim my own truth and rebuild the trust that had been shattered by her betrayal. The revelation of my fake friend's actions and her attempt to sabotage my relationship sent shockwaves through my family and relatives. They had been witnesses to the ups and downs of my relationship, and Emma had to try to pursue Alex for years like a stalker was another bad deed of hers. I saw how my family reacted. Their reaction to the expose were a mix of disbelief, anger, and concern. In the face of this anger, my relatives rallied around me, offering unwavering support, and they became a pillar of strength. helping me navigate emotional turmoil and providing a safe haven where I could heal and rebuild. Their reassurance and love were essential in the process of overcoming emotional scars left by her betrayal. Well, Emma was left humiliated and embarrassed, and everybody was calling her out for her disgusting actions. She tried to make a scene by flipping the tables and destroying the decorations, but the security caught her. She had gone crazy and was screaming and yelling, calling me names, and trying to break free to harm me, which only angered me. I walked towards her and slapped her across the face. I told her to get out of my face and never come back. When Emma still did not stop and charged at me after picking a knife from the fruit basket, I screamed in horror, but Alex pushed me away and I did not get hurt. The cops also arrived and arrested her. She was dragged away kicking and screaming, and I realized how insane that girl truly was. Update number 3. After the dust settled and Sarah's deceit was laid bare for all to see, Alex and I found ourselves on a path towards rekindling our relationship, ultimately leading to our real engagement. With our hearts now firmly intertwined and our trust in each other reaffirmed, we decided to embark on a new life together, far away from the shadows of betrayal. Alex brought me lots of gifts and tried his best to make me happy, and I was so soon when he proposed to me, I immediately agreed, and our real engagement was finally organized. Our engagement was a symbol of our resilience and commitment towards each other. See, we had weathered the storm of deception and emerged stronger with a deep connection and appreciation of the love that we shared. It was a joyous occasion celebrated by friends and family who had stood by us during the journey. For Alex and me, it was a fresh start, a chance to rebuild on some trust, love, and a mutual respect. Alex apologized to me, and though my mom wanted nothing to do with him, I persuaded her to give him another chance. However, amid all this, there was one person who could not share in our happiness: Emma. Our decision to move away and start a new life only added to Emma's anguish. She was left behind with the loss of the presence with her life, and Emma's role in the events that unfolded in our lives had left a trail of destruction and heartache, earning her the moniker of a home wrecker in the eyes of those who knew the full extent of her actions. The revelation of her calculated deceit and her attempt to sabotage my relationship with Alex had left a lasting stain on her reputation, one that cast a dark shadow on it. In the aftermath of the expose, the people who had once regarded Emma as a friend, confidant, and trusted member of our circle now all despise her. Her actions had shattered the trust in the camaraderie that had once defined our friendship. And yeah, the feeling of betrayal ran deep, and disappointment was in the air. So there it is. We got to know that she was fined a large amount, but we knew it was deserved also. She was jailed for an attempt to harm me. We later heard rumors about her family that even his father had a criminal record, and she also had a history of hurting and bullying kids since her school days. She became the talk of the town. The once friendly gatherings and shared moments became tinged with bitterness in Emma's presence. People whispered about her behind closed doors, expressing their disdain for her audacity and her willingness to sacrifice our happiness for her own gain. In the end, Emma's reputation as a homewrecker was a reflection of the impact her actions had on the lives of those she betrayed. Her attempt to undermine a relationship and take advantage of the chaos that she had sown had left a legacy of resentment and mistrust. While some may believe in second chances and redemption, for those who have witnessed the havoc she brought, Emma remained a cautionary tale of the consequences of jealousy and betrayal. So this is like one of the first times in the comment section after somebody gets exposed in a story where everybody was agreeing with each other. I'm telling you, almost every single comment was taking OP's back, standing up for her and saying, you know what? Her best friend Emma deserved everything that she got, publicly being humiliated, and in fact she might have deserved even worse because she was a toxic snake. She went behind OP's back and tried to ruin everything, but luckily we saw karma go ahead and drop down a delivery of a full dose just for her. I want to know your thoughts on this story. I want to know what you would have done if you were in OP's position and you find out your friend is not really a friend. Let me know your thoughts. Guys, thank you for joining me on today's video, and if you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed, you're missing out on some daily stories, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you once again for joining me. I will see you tomorrow, and just remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.